Okay, guys, we're doing our Deepakism of the week, and I hope everyone had a wonderful week last week, and I hope that you found that the 7 steps out of Deepak's Peace is the Way were helpful for you. One of the things I thought I'd do this week, which is a little bit different, but I thought it might be helpful for some people, is to read some questions off of, Deepak has a blog where people ask questions and then he answers them directly. So I took the opportunity to copy off some of the things that I thought might be, might pertain to some of the people who watch the Deepakisms. And I mean, they pertain to all of us in general, but specifically to those of us who are, on a certain path of enlightenment, I thought these might help. I mean, they're general questions, so let's get to it. Whoops. Sorry about that. This always takes me a minute to get together here. Whenever I try to do these things where I read and tape at the same time. Okay, so this first question was sent in by someone who has the difficulty meditating. So, hold on one second. Sorry. Okay, so his question was, I have a difficult time staying awake when I meditate. Location, time of day, physical position do not seem to impact this. After I am able to stop thinking, I'm aware of a short time of silence, then I vision, or is it dreaming? Then I start to nod off. I feel a strong desire to nap. Sometimes I indulge this desire, sometimes I force myself into wakefulness. I enjoy sleeping, going to bed around 10, falling asleep right away, awaking once or twice during the night, but falling right back to sleep and awakening between 5 and 6 each morning. I'm generally alert and not tired during the day. Any insights or recommendations? And this is Deepak's answer. Go ahead and let yourself sleep if you feel a strong urge to nod off during meditation. It's not a good idea for you to force yourself to stay alert. Even if you don't have time to sleep, even if you don't have a sleep deficit from the night. Sometimes you can go through a period of meditation where your body requires an experience of sleep in order to release a particular quality of conditioning. Don't worry about it. Just let the body shift into the state it needs. And when that conditioning or stress has been cleared, then your meditations will resume their usual character. I thought that was interesting because I go through, waves with meditation where sometimes I will feel like falling asleep, and then other times I can stay awake the whole time. So I thought that was a great answer, and I never really thought of it that way. Next question. I have always been a very spiritually inclined person. For the past 3 years, I have seen very close relatives die of natural causes, murder, and now suicide. I've learned the process of grieving, but with this one, it just left me with so many questions about life in itself. I have always believed in destiny and karma. How do I make this type of death make sense to my spiritual and emotional grounding? This is a good one for all of us. And Deepak says, it sounds like you have found a certain solace through the ideas of destiny and karma to help you come to terms with loss in your past. However, life events cannot always be easily understood and made sense of. Being at ease with the uncertainty and mysteriousness of life is one of the greatest gifts of wisdom. This suicide may be an indication that it's time for you to let go of the need to make sense of this. You can grieve, heal, and find peace even if your mind is unable to explain or comprehend why something like this happened. If your healing and growth is dependent upon philosophies and spiritual beliefs, then you are limiting your evolution to your conditioned mind, the very thing you are trying to move beyond. So try to use this situation as a way to accept a truth and reality that is outside the reach of your understanding, and that is okay. From here, you should be able to let the natural grieving process begin. All right, and then the next question is, I believe the mind is the powerhouse of transferring information from non-physical world to the physical world. But can you please explain to me the reason for pain, suffering of vulnerable, elderly, children, animals? What are the reasons for this? Because I need to understand so that I can make sense of it all. Is it that how we interpret suffering and how we experience it that maps out our soul and determines the next life we live? Is there such a place as heaven? Is there such a place as hell? Once we die, doesn't that place we go to get packed out and full of souls? Does heaven get cramped with souls? Please explain to me. Where do we go? And Deepak says, Buddha lists the existence of suffering in the world as one of the Four Noble Truths. He says it is caused by attachment, ignorance, and anger, and is removed through nirvana. That means we step out of suffering by raising our consciousness to an entirely different level than the consciousness that generates suffering. That one's pretty deep. It reminds me of my response video to the tragedy in Mexico. And then here's one that I thought was really good, and it speaks to, I think, his book, A Path to Love, which we've done a lot of Deepakisms out of. It says, can you speak to the issue of passion and desire as an ego versus a soul issue? In one of the later chapters in The Path to Love, you describe boredom as the suppression of desire, and yet it seems as though surrender requires putting our personal desires aside. How does one hold on to one's desires without being selfish about it? I imagine there is something in the answer to this that would help me to better understand resignation versus surrender. And Deepak's answer is, I see surrender as the ultimate fulfillment of desire rather than the suppression of it. At the heart of every little ego, desire is the soul's search for happiness, freedom, and wholeness. When one truly surrenders in love, one is relinquishing all the little desires to merge with the wholeness of one's heart's desire. It is like a river flowing into the ocean. It is giving up its limited sense of self and values in order to gain its true unbounded status, what it had been moving toward all along. In that state of surrender, there is no question of holding on or being selfish. Your desires are your beloved's desires. Your beloved's desires, his needs, and are your needs. I like that one because a lot of people get caught up on, what's in it for me, and it's about me, and what about my goals, and all of this. And when you're truly in love with someone, and you truly surrender to being in love with someone, you become like a unit, and your goals become joint goals, not necessarily individual goals. You still do retain your own individual identities, but you don't have your own individual identity separate and apart from your beloved. So I really like that one because it's just a great answer. And again, I'm going to post the website for the global community, but just to touch base on it again, peace is the way, and the global community of peacemakers is committed to creating a critical mass of peaceful global citizens. The great seer Patanjali said, when we are firmly established in nonviolence, all beings around us cease to feel hostility. If you would like to be a global citizen radiating peace, you are welcome to become part of the neuronal network of the planetary mind. Let us make military strength and war irrelevant. And I'll post the link on the side. Have a great week. Bye. Be blessed.